Hello and welcome back to the channel. First things first, I was supposed to release this video about 2 weeks ago, but the day after I put up my CMX versus APP video, I got horrendously sick. Bedridden for like 5 days. I lost 20 pounds in 5 days. It was not a nice thing. So that pushed back a whole bunch of things I was working on. And in general, I think I was pushing a little too much, not enough sleep, not living very healthy, trying to do too many things, not enough time. And it caught up to me pretty bad. So that's why I was a bit late, and I might slow my cadence a little bit on videos. I'm not going to stay up until 1 and 2 in the morning fighting Adobe, trying to export videos. I'll just go to bed and try again the next day if that's what I have to do. So yeah, still gonna make videos, still be fairly regular, but yeah, not gonna kill myself about it. So that's why this video is a little late, because it's a little topical. I watched the video with a similar looking thumbnail, with these 3 products being chemical tested a few hours after application. Now, you can design products, I don't know if this one is, but clearly these ones seem to be, to withstand chemical testing within hours of being applied. You can design for that. But that's all you design for. Let's make this very clear. Chemical resistance testing is only relevant to chemical resistance. That's it. It does not translate to real-world durability. It does not mean X amount of exposures of this chemical or this pH rating. Does not translate in any way to time in the environment and all different kinds of environments. Again, there's too many variables for even real world testing to be 100% flawless. Like my climate, your climate, there are lots of different climates. So my issue with this is the thought that it did really well in chemical resistance testing. It did really well in a very short cure chemical resistance test. Therefore, it is durable. No, it's just good at a chemical resistance test. And just specific types of chemicals. Yes, there's all kinds of pH range that you can apply. I use Built-Hamber Autofoam because that's a chemical I put on my paint regularly. Every couple months, you should probably do a stronger wash to, if you've got ceramic coatings, you want to unclog them with high and low pH. You want to get into nooks and crannies, springtime when there's leaves and stuff falling. You want those types of chemicals semi-regularly, bi-monthly, 3 months, whatever you want to be. But that's a normal thing to do to a car. That isn't being strip washed. If you're ceramic coated, you'll be using that type of stuff all the time. And you saw the CMX test. That was 4% PIR autofoam, probably 5 because measurements were a little off. Didn't budge after 11 hits. So that's my issue with those types of videos. So I'm doing my test with these 3 products, and they've cured for like 3 weeks because I got sick. So this will be a more realistic test, and you will see that. Again, I actually don't remember which section was which. That's why I have a notebook. But you'll see that they don't completely fail after 6 hits of 2% Built-Hamber Autofoam. After a few hits, they're still all fine. Which means you could put these on, and remember, you've got time in between washing. So time exposed, maybe 2 months in, you do an autofoam wash. Who knows how much more degradation there is from just the environment, but the auto wash itself, when these are healthy, is not going to wipe them out. That's basically what we're getting at. But what is the order? Who is in first? What's in second? Well, it's a blind test, so you'll have to wait till the end to find out who's who. But there is a distinct order. Kind of predictable if I remember which sections are which. But again, very different results. So, and this is what you really should be paying attention to. Your chemical testing, your YouTube test should be relevant and translatable into real world scenario. And I am actually working on a video discussing a whole bunch of tests because I think there's a lot of misinformation and a lot of overinflated metrics that are not that important, or maybe not important at all because people misconstrue what they actually are. So that's coming up soon. I wanted to piggyback off this video because they're related, but enough yammering from me. Let's look at things get washed. Hello everybody, and here we are at the chemical resistance test using 2% built Hamber Autofoam. Test sections are here, 1, 2, and 3. Did you guys see an initial look? We did the initial look, but now you can see it in fast motion. The noise you hear in the background, if you can hear it, is a heater. It's cold. I'm trying to warm up the garage. We're currently at 18 degrees Celsius and 41% humidity, and that's going to go through the roof as I start spraying. So we're going to go as many rounds as it takes to see a distinct difference between the 3 competitors. I actually cannot remember which one's which because they've been on here for so long, so I think I know which ones they are, but again, I'll reveal that at the end. But so it's a mystery for me and you as to who's actually winning this, but let's stop wasting time and get going. Oopsie. Okay, this one I'm not going to scrub. I'm just going to spray and then rinse. Just see if there's any kind of lingering residue. It'll tell me right away if I need to start wet wiping this. Ignore the lines right there. That's probably just from application around the tape, a bit kind of messy. Everything's still hydrophobic. Let me pause this and wipe. I'm going to do a few rounds off camera just because I don't want to make a 60-minute long video of me spraying water and flooding my garage. But punch back in once we see a difference and I'll let you know how many it was. Okay, we have done 6 passes and I just did a wet wipe. I haven't wet wiped it, haven't wet wiped it through the whole test until now because I started to see a little sticking. So we'll check here now and go from there. A little sticky at the bottom. The bottom half is a little sticky. Slowed down a good amount, but it's still moving. Definitely the fastest. I'm still moving stuff, but you got to remember that this is a vertical panel, so water's going to move naturally off of this panel, and the warmer it is, the faster it will move. It's still 18.5 degrees Celsius here, so it's not crazy warm, but it's warmer than 4 degrees, for example. But this is a vertical panel, so you know, that's not fast. Like that's not that fast if you think about that. This is straight up and down. That's a little more fast. It's like clearly seems like first place. Second, third. Yeah. Third place in the middle, second on the left, first on the right. I think that's where I'm going to call it. We're seeing enough of a difference. Put enough water on the ground. So let's call it there and then head into the conclusion. Okay, got the cheat sheet. I did actually do a filling panel. I got new panels, which you just saw the first one of them in the wash test. but it was a black panel, but the paint finish on it is terrible. And scratching it up, like I could get scratches in it, but because it had such a hazy reflection, it was really hard to see the scratches, which meant it was really hard to see the fill. So I'm gonna review these products separately. Like of this one I've already done, but these two, I'm gonna make their own videos. And I'm actually gonna start coming up with my own kind of like a ranking system that's, again, grounded in reality. I still have to iron out like exactly what I'm going to do, but I want to come up with something that I can be like, here is a number, but have the number be relevant and like not like fractions of decimals where I'm multiplying by numbers. I know other channels do stuff like that, and it's how they work around the metrics they're using, but there's a lot more subjectiveness to reviewing that should be weighed in a little bit more than just raw data and just raw testing, because it's personally like, most of this is subjective. Like you're watching my video with my opinion based on how much these cost for me to buy, which influences my opinion. Again, things you need to filter through and filter out. I'm not going to tell you what I think is only what's good. You all have your own experiences, your own opinion, your own climates. Mine good could be your bad, and vice versa. So there is a subjective amount to this, just knowing where it is and, you know, announcing that, hey, this is my subjective take, and take it for, you know, grain of salt, essentially. But let's get to some of the results. I'm rambling a lot today. I don't know what's going on. So, third place in the middle section was DIY. Not by much, not too much worse than the other guys, but it did take the longest hit. It was the slowest to sheet off after the 6 hits. But overall, smells really nice. It's not super strong, but it's very nice. It is a breeze to apply and remove. The initial hydrophobics look pretty good. Again, topping coatings and stuff would also be a really great thing to do. That you can use this as a clay lube. There's a lot of uses. Again, check out their channel. They've got a million videos on it. But overall, I think it's a nice product. I can't remember the price. Editor me will put it in here and put my thoughts on the price per unit. I think there's a gallon size, but that's my opinion. But overall, I thought it was quite nice. The trigger leaked when I shook it. That's the only thing. I don't know if that's a user error. I don't think so, but that was my only thing. Shaking it, the trigger leaked. So it's a Tokol trigger, but yeah, this one's leaking. So anyway, second place by a slight margin, not a huge margin, was Clean, which means first. So that was the order they were on the panel. So Clean came in second. Again, we've seen in the previous video that its chemical resistance is quite strong, and there's lots of videos out there where they're testing it in weird ways that show it's quite strong. And I've got real world testing that says meh. But yeah, in this test, it did pretty good. It was a clear second place, not by a huge margin. And again, application super easy. Pricing's a little steep for 16 ounce, but you know, premium product, I guess. But yeah, overall, like uses, application, the scent is strong, but other than that, using this is fine. I think it's a great product to use, and initial performance is quite nice. So you can easily reapply this every week if you have it fall off after 2 weeks. A little bit wasteful, a little bit not great. I don't think it will fall off after 2 weeks, but again, we're testing it right now in the winter. Who knows what this conditions will be like in the summer. So we can revisit this down the road. But yeah, second place for that guy. And then first place was Infinity. To Infinity and Forearm, because this is not nice to apply. Now, that test section I was using is kind of floppy, and I had a hard time sort of putting it on something to apply the products, and that contributed to the miserable application. But in general, this is pretty miserable to apply. And I sprayed it into the cloth, one spray, worked on the third of the hood thing. And yeah, it was not fun. It was not a great thing to apply. So yeah, get your temps right, get good rags that you trust with grippy products. You know, probably lower nap is probably gonna be the way to go. Sorry, I tried filming it, but the panel was falling all over the place, and I sort of gave up. But take my word for it, it's a workout. So bring your forearms. But It smells nice, and its chemical resistance was better than these two. Again, real world, who knows? We'll revisit that. Don't worry. But yeah, not a bad product, but they weren't joking about, you know, it having some gumption to it. So yeah, maybe wet application use cases. Again, they recommend you can dilute it, which will make it easier to apply. But then how much durability, how much real world strength and, you know, chemical resistance, how much does that fall off when you then dilute it? That's an unknown, something we can look into, but at the moment I have no interest in doing that. So my main goal is to do more real world tests. We'll have to see how long the current one goes on the hood. I would like to do it when it's a little bit warmer so we get a little bit more time and a little more results. It's slower degradations in general, but we'll see. So yeah, that's it for this one. The testing video is something I'm going to be working on. I'll be writing my notes probably tonight even. Not sure. I got to brainstorm and sort of think of my talking points and what are my angles, because I'm going to talk about a few channels by name that I subscribe to, so I'm allowed to do that, right? And just highlight things that people are doing and my stances on testing, and then outlining as well going forward how I'm changing my reviews, where I have like a ranking system, like a point system, something like that, because I will want to have like a Google Doc that I can share so people can just look at it and see what my rankings are very easily. So you don't have to like watch a million videos, you can just go into the doc. I mean, watch the videos would be nice, but you can go to the doc and not have to go to each video to see the score. So that's what I'm going to work on next. And that's where I'm going to leave this one, because I've been talking for a very long time. So thank you again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.